we are live again. Let's hope this one works. I do not know what's going on, but I'm hoping it is working because my 4G is not that good. So let's hope that this works okay. So if you're watching this afterwards, this is the Pippa Sewalong, which is our newest pattern to 2023. It came out last week, and yeah, she's proved very popular already. I'm sorry that I'm not wearing one. It's because it's still in the wash. I wore it last week and I completely forgot until this morning. So instead today I've got a Sylvia robe on, which is nice and elegant, and I've also got a nice thermal top on with it because it is very cold, isn't it? Oh, great. I am seeing comments now, so that bodes well, doesn't it? Hello there. Hi. Thank you for joining. Whilst we wait for everyone to find us, I am just going to do a little bit of pinning of darts. So we can get this ready. So, oh, look, we've got 14 people. People are filling in. Hello there. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I'm sure shortly we'll be seeing a comment from one of the Sewalong team. I don't know actually who we've got joining us tonight, whether we've got Rosie or whether it's Alma. Let's see, because this is the first one I've done at home where we've not been in the office together, and it's really bizarre. Hi Celia, hi Eileen. Oh, beeping iron. That's annoyed me. I've just taken that pin out, and now I'm regretting that. I'm just going to get my piece back. Oh no. It's gone over the table. Bear with me, guys. Bear with. Oh, this feels very lockdowny, back in the swings of doing it at home, where I haven't got anyone to help if the technical stuff goes wrong with videos. So I'm hoping it's going to be okay tonight. I think I have done a Sewalong from here before, I think, from this place, but maybe only one. Hello, hi there. So who have we got joining us? Where are we joining from? I feel like we'll have people from all over the world. Maybe this is a bit better time for the international audience. So who have we got joining today? Let's have a look. Who's sewing along with me as well? Tell me. It's always lovely to have a nice chat along, see who's there and chat to each other. What happens if you're joining this first time for the live, then you should know that I will try my best to answer any questions, but the Sew Over It team, I don't actually know yet if we've got somebody. I don't know if I missed them come up there, but the Sew Over It team will try their best to answer any questions because I often don't see them because I'm obviously looking up and looking down. So I don't always see what's going on the screen. Do we have a Sew Over It person there? If anyone has seen them chat already, please do let me know. If not, guys, we're gonna have to fly solo on this one. I'm gonna have to ask somebody to step in and be the Sew Over It support. Oh wow, Ghana. I saw Copenhagen. I've just seen Ghana. Some India. Haven't seen any yet. Okay, thanks, Celia. Maybe they've forgotten about it. Hopefully not. US in Florida. Hello. Well, you must be a lot warmer than we are right now. Oh gosh, it was not. It is very cold. Very, very cold over here in the UK, although not those of you. Hi, Lauriane. Hello in France. Those of you in much colder climates will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's really not that cold in the UK, but for us, it feels cold. So there we go. Darts are all sewn. So what we are going to do, carry on chatting, guys. Let's hope that someone from Sew Over It arrives. If they don't, can I just ask those of you, oh, there we go, Rosie's here. I was about to say, can somebody make sure that we don't get any funny comments? Because sometimes we get weirdos finding us and clearly not saying like rude things and stuff. So I think it's to do with the time that we do it. So anyway, Rosie is here now, so all is okay. So Rosie will be putting up links to things such as the Pippa dress and various other bits that I refer to. And I am going to answer my questions if I can, but Rosie will probably answer most of them. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start the Pippa dress. I have done nothing before this evening, so I've not prepped at all because I've been really busy I didn't get a chance. So I'm just going to go right from the beginning. So you can go right from the beginning with me if you're sewing along. So first off, I'm going to do the stay stitching. Now the stay stitching is, I'm a bit naughty. I often don't do this, but I have already got a lovely Pippa dress in the navy version of this fabric. So therefore, I didn't want to make another one for myself. So I'm actually making this for Alma. And so, therefore I feel I need to do the stay stitching. So I'm going to do that. So the stay stitching along the neckline, I'm going to do it under 1 centimetre because the seam allowance along the neckline is that. So stay stitching stops things from stretching. So you want to, I'm just increasing my stitch length. So it stops that edge from stretching as you're dealing with it and over handling it. So along we go here. Oh no, that's a good start, isn't it, guys? The bobbins run out. That's really good. I did think when I was setting up tonight, oh, I'm so lucky. I've got black on my overlocker and I've got black on my bobbin. Not lucky because I forgot to check. Anyway, never mind. There we go. I've already missed a question, but I can see Rosie's on it, so that's great. Filling that on up. I always like to control the bobbin myself because I find that if I don't kind of move it up and down, it doesn't always evenly fill. I don't know why, if that's, and I don't think it's particularly a Benina thing. It's just which is the machine I'm sewing with. So I'm sewing with the Benina Activa 140, which I don't know if they still do this, but I got this when I was 16. I'm now 40. Very old, but it was one of the first like snazzy computerized ones that Benina brought out. But you know, I've looked after it over the years and it's stayed. It stayed in good nick, which is great. Okay. Right, we're stay stitching. There we go, back we go to that. Right, so I'm just going to overlap. It doesn't matter, this is stay stitching. It doesn't matter too much whether that is, you know, you don't need to do a really neat start and stop. It's going to be in the seam allowance. We don't need to do a reverse because it's not holding it, it's not holding two things together. I should say as well, you might not be able to see what my hands are doing, but they've been quite delicate with the fabric and almost a bit like with knit fabric, I'm pushing it towards the presser foot. And the reason why I do that is because that neckline edge on the front bodice is on the bias or just off it, but it's going to be very stretchy. So what you don't want to do is be really tense and hold it really tightly and stretch it and then stay stitch it into a stretched position, because that kind of defeats the point of stay stitching. So you've just got to handle it quite lightly and be careful when you're along a bias. We also used to say, when I was teaching in the classroom, I used to say, I remember to breathe. Because if you end up not wanting to come back to your sewing machine for a while, so puts you off. Right, let's get rid of these tails. So that's the two front pieces stay stitch. And then we'll go on to the back neckline and do that one. Oh, I'm glad, Tina, you're back enjoying being at a live. It's nice to be back here. So the last one we did, well, I know that the team did one, which I haven't had a chance to watch yet. But the last one I did was in November, I think. Was it December? Can you remember, Rosie? I think it was November. So it's nice to be back here. I have to. It was really strange actually for me, because I have sort of got out of out of what's the word? Out of practice with them. I was a bit nervous. I haven't been nervous for so long in a long time. So don't know what that was about. I guess I just thought, oh gosh, it's usually to do with the technology rather than the chatting and sewing. I don't get nervous about that. It's just the kind of, oh gosh, what if it crashes? If it does crashes, you know the drill, guys. I'll restart another one and Rosie will herd you over to that one. Right, we are now going to move on from we've done the stay stitching of back neckline on the back bodice, so we're now going to move on to darts. So there are darts down the back which give it a nice fit, and if you actually look at, I'm sure there are photos of the back of it on the product image, but it's a really lovely fitted shape at the back, and I think that, you know, that's what you get when you do when you have like nice fitted darts. Get my words out, Lisa. So I'm going to start with the 2 back darts. So I've pinned them in. Line up your notches at the top, then you want to line up your pin at the bottom. If you've got line up your notches at the top, then I always put a pin right at the point of the dart. I'm just going to check, so I'm getting a repetition of, hopefully everything's okay, but I'm getting a repetition of comments, which makes me think the internet's gone, but fingers crossed it's not. Are you okay still? Is everyone watching me still? Are we still going at a normal speed? Speak now, and let's just check before I carry on. Or maybe I'm just not going to see the comments. The video has stopped. You did freeze, fine here, now it's okay, before not. Okay. Oh, the joys of the countryside internet. Glad it's okay. Right, so dart. We are doing a dart. We're going to line up the raw edges with the notch at the top. We've placed them right sides together. We're doing the waist darts in the back piece. I've then got pin marking where the point of the dart is. I always do that even when I've marked it. Now I haven't drawn my line here just because I couldn't find my chalk at the last minute, so I've not done that, but I'm just going to freestyle it and go straight as I can. So eyeballing that I need to go off the edge. So you always reverse at the beginning and then you come off the end. You don't reverse at the point of a dart because then it can make that point bulky and then not press nicely. So you want to just stitch off the end and then we tie a double knot with them, which you'll see me doing. Taking your pins out as you get to them. So we're going to reverse there. Ooh, you feel a bit clunky, Mr. Machine. That's better. So I'm just gradually coming close to the edge here so that I just disappear off into nothing. It's quite a long dart, this one, and off the edge. So you pull it out at that point and then you want to tie those together. Now you can either tie them sort of separately like that, but I tie them for speed together in one knot. And then I use my nifty little trick, which is putting the pin into the knot, pushing it down to the fabric and then trimming it. And then other side. Reversing. I realise I've got a few too many pins in here. And then eyeballing it again so that you're coming close to the edge gradually. Nice, even, straight line. And then I'm going to just do the same and knot to that end. Okay, back darts are now sewn. So that's good. I'm going to put that to one side and then we'll do the pressing all in one go. And then let's move on to one of the front pieces. So we've got a bust dart, just a standard bust dart in the front. So again, it's lining up in the same way, making sure you've got the notches lined up together. Obviously, it needs to be folded right sides together. Do a nice little reverse, and away we go. We are under, I know this is not relevant to sewing, we are under the flight path to Chequers, which is the UK Parliament sort of Prime Minister's, whoever's the Prime Minister, it's like Camp David, it's their like weekend retreat kind of in the countryside, stately home. And I don't know what is going on there at the moment, but there is so much back and forth. And it's the middle of the week. So you'd like to think that our Prime Minister is not on a jolly right now. Apparently when Boris was Prime Minister, he came all the time. So you need to then make a knot there, push that down to the fabric and then cut it off. One done. I love darts. I love the kind of like sewing a dart, moving to one side, sewing a dart, moving to one side. It's like a little production line of darts. I find it very satisfying. Okay. Okie dokie, right. Last dart then, last bust dart. Okay. Okay, and then tie that together. I have to say I'm really enjoying my nails. For those of you that follow me will know that I'm started a new venture, which is a flower farm. And so I have not been able to have my nice red nails at all because it's not practical, because just, yeah. So instead, what I've discovered are stick-on nails. These are Elegant Touch. And they're £5. I got them on Amazon and you can get them in different shapes. These are Squoval. And I basically stick them on. It takes less than 10 minutes and it's £5. And I swear they look just as good as when I go to the nail bar. It's just instant good nails. Because I thought I can't do my sew along with you guys seeing these my awful nails. It wouldn't be a normal sew along, would it? Right, let me just check because I'm freestyling here, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going to go in a Lisa order and not a booklet order. I think I have not. Yeah, we do need to overlock our edges now. So why don't we overlock the edges, and then we'll do the pressing, just so I can stay seated. Right, I'm going to try and move this off the table and the overlock will come back up. He's all ready. Here's one I prepared earlier. So we're going to overlock the shoulder seams and also the, oh, thank you, Maria. Thank you. Shoulder seams and also the side seams. And we're going to overlock them separately. Sarah, this is how I managed it. Stick on nails, Elegant Touch, literally the best invention ever. The only thing that's annoying is sometimes they pop off and then you're kind of like stuck with one, yeah, like without one basically. I'm just thinking, no, we can't do that. We can't do the side seams. We need to press first. We do need to press first because we can't overlock this without pressing it. So we're going to do all of our pressing and stick to the order that we were meant to do it. Okay, I'm very scared to move this just because of, there we go, just because of what just happened with the internet, but hopefully it's okay. Right, let's get that iron back on. It's a lovely iron, this, but it's very annoying. It's like that iron I had at Mum and Dad's. It just kicks up. It sort of has a safety thing where it just turns itself off, which is really annoying. So when you're pressing a dart, you press it from the wrong side and you want to press it down if it's the bust dart. I think there's something on my iron. It's sticky. I don't know what though. It's not marked. And you can then turn it over and check that you haven't created any ridge. That's perfect. It generally doesn't happen in viscose, which is what I'm sewing with. But with thicker fabrics, actually with cotton, lightweight cotton, you often find that you press it from this side, and even though you pull that lower bit, so I always pull that to make sure it's open, but even though you do that, you do end up sometimes with it kind of not actually pressed completely flat from the right side. So let's now just do those back ones. So back ones are going towards the centre back. So again, just pull that in the middle, and that will just make sure it's open. And then the same here. Pull and open. Okay. Right. We can overlock now, can't we? Safe to overlock. So we're doing the shoulder seams. Oh, get that back this way. Shoulder seams, and then also side seams. That's the word. Brain isn't engaged then. I need to make sure I'm going to press down on the right pedal. So, okay. So you've got to be careful when you're overlocking something separately before you've actually sewn it as a seam, because if you have done that, you will, if you are doing that, you can accidentally shave off seam allowance, and then you stick to your seam allowance, you end up taking too much. So don't take anything off. Line it up on the overlocker so you're not taking anything off. Now, if you don't have an overlocker, it absolutely doesn't matter. You can just use a zigzag stitch. So don't feel like this is, you have to have an overlocker. You don't. But the reason why we're doing this is we do have a side zip in the Pippa dress. So we need to have everything overlocked so we can press the seams open and also insert the zip. Okay, that is done on that one and that one and that one. Yes, that's done. So just need to do the back. If you are scared of overlocking, if you're thinking of getting into it, or maybe you've got one and you haven't got it out of the box, fear not. We have done an amazing course on Stitch School that's just on overlocking. So if you're scared of overlocking, or maybe like me, you don't actually know enough about overlocking, you kind of know the basics, but you want to know a bit more. You want to know how to fix tension and things like that, check that out. I'm sure Rosie can put up a link to it shortly, but it is amazing. And you don't have to be a member of Stitch School, you can just buy it individually. But obviously if you are a member and you're a premium member, then you do get access to that. Okay, what have we done? We've done 2 side seams. Oh, we've done it all. So let's just trim those. Oh, look, there you go. There's the overlocking link. Rosie's just popped that up, so check that out in the chat. She's put the link if you're interested. And Stitch School has got all sorts of amazing things. So even if, you know, it's got all these, we've got over 100 little tutorials, which are only £3 each. And if you are looking to get some help with just one thing, so maybe you don't know how to do an all-in-one facing, or maybe you want to know how to do a little bit of binding or something like that, the little kind of technique-y things, we've got individual videos for those. And we do find they're quite popular. People who aren't subscribers do just love to, yeah, buy the odd one of those. Although if you think you're going to want to use lots of those little ones, then it's worth paying the £5 a month and the basic subscription, because then you get to watch as many of those as you want, plus other bits. Okay, I've trimmed everything. So we can now do shoulder seams. We're going to do shoulder seams, and oh wonderful, my battery is going to run out on my thing. That's great. Da, da, da. Right sides together. I'm just going to quickly check that I'm we need to make sure that we do, yeah, we're not going to stitch the side seams actually, so that's fine. And then we're just going to go onto the binding, so that's great. Sorry guys, bear with me. Okay, fine, it's okay, I know the order now. So what we're going to do is just the shoulder seams, then we're going to put the binding on with it without the side seams attached, stitch, because it's just easier, and then you can go ahead and do the kind of the side seams. So I'm going to place those shoulder seams right sides together. I'm going to line up the edges, so one edge and then a two edge. Okay, and then the same on here. Oh, I'm hungry. I'm starting to think about what I'm going to have for my tea. I made yesterday a very lovely leek and potato soup. And again, those of you that follow me on Instagram will know that I'm not a very good cook. But I had to call mum and dad, or rather mum, to be like, just check in there, you know, how I did this. I've done it about 2 years ago. Anyway, it's yummy. And when I got in for lunch today, I'd been out on the field working hard, grafting hard, and was, you know, really hungry. It was just so nice having a homemade soup just on the hob that I could just heat up. Somebody was telling me, or in fact the photographer that I was working with yesterday, she said that she got bought, oh thanks Tina, it was nice. She got bought a soup maker. Have you heard of that? It sounds amazing. She said what you do is you put like the onions and things, I think you start off with, you know, most soups have onions in, and then you put all the other bits in, and then, you know, your stock, and just basically chuck it all in, and then it gets it ready for you in like 20 minutes or something. Oh, and again, you can decide how thick or thin you want your soup. And now I'm going to put this on my Christmas list, because I think that sounds amazing. I still don't have an air fryer, so I feel like I've got to get that first, air fryer first. And I know that Rosie's a big fan of the air fryer, aren't you, Rosie? She has nailed the air fryer. They are amazing. Oh really, the soup things? Well, that's good, Paula, to know. Sorry, I should have said I've started waffling about things that aren't related to sewing, classic me. 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, 5/8 of an inch. So generally with all our patterns, that's the seam allowance, and then it's a centimetre on the neckline. Rosie loves her air fryer. She does. We need to get her a t-shirt that says I love my air fryer. Maybe we can get Alma to do that on her crit cut, and we can put it on a t-shirt for you. Ah, oh, she swears by the soup thing. You don't? I don't think you do. You have to put a very little bit of oil on the air frying, I think. You do put a little tiny bit on the chips, but you put it on them first. Is that right, Rosie? Oh, let's have a discussion about air fryers. Yeah, so I haven't seen how much these soup things are, but I assume they're over £100. So it's not a quick, impulsive purchase, but yeah, they sound amazing. I do love a soup. Annoyingly, Jazzy doesn't though. I feel like soup, maybe children aren't really into soups, are they? I don't remember little children. So yeah. Yeah, it's very annoying. So I feel like poor Jazzy has a mum who doesn't make many things, so when I do make something good, I kind of want her to like it. I've also, hilariously, somebody bought Jasmine. It's a friend of my mum's, so she knows I'm not a very good cook. She bought Jasmine for Christmas a cookbook. Oh my gosh, it is literally the best thing for me, because it is recipes that don't need 1,000,001 ingredients, and it's simple kind of dinners. It's so good. and so easy. So I made quesadillas out of it with her last week, and as a result I'm now like making them every day. Just love them, really love them. Right, okay, I am going to press this open. So I'm going to turn it to here, because after I've done that, we're going to also fold this in half. So it's a lot of ironing now, so I might as well turn it so that you can see what I'm doing. I will be the headless seamstress. You've not started making cakes in an air fryer. Oh my goodness, I don't understand how that can happen. Wow. The only thing is, I'd say, because I have a slow cooker, which I love, but it's all these things. I don't have a very big kitchen at the moment, and it's just space, isn't it, for all these things? They sort of all just end up sort of sitting, because they take up so much space in the cupboard, and I don't want to have them all out on the surface, because then you don't have any area to chop. So yeah, I need to wait until I've got a bigger kitchen again. Now, seams pressed open, so that's those done. Okay, so let's prep the binding. So I feel I've basically got on, I've been really lazy getting ready today. I've got on my thermals that I wear underneath everything in the field, and I couldn't bother to take them off because I'm so cold. So I just basically kept on my thermal leggings and top and put on this for a bit of glamour, which is fine if you sat down, but I've just noticed standing up it doesn't look very glamorous, does it? Right, so I'm folding that right, oh, stop sticking, pain. Right, the wrong sides together, folding it in half lengthways. Nigella does it. Oh, I love Nigella. I need to watch some more Nigella. I love her recipes as well. She's got an amazing chili con carne recipe. It's yummy, 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 and super quick. It's got chorizo in it, I think, so it's yummy. Easier said than done, actually. You've got to be careful when you press a bias strip, because if you press it too much, you're going to end up stretching it out and making it too thin, which then makes it a lot harder to finish. So you've got to kind of, again, handle it carefully so that you don't stretch it. Because if you're ever, I don't know if anyone's heard of making kind of stay tape out of organza. If you're ever working with something that is super like lightweight, but you need to stay tape it, but you haven't got you don't want to design on viling, or you haven't got cotton tape, you can make organza bias strips, and we used to use them in the bridal industry all the time. They probably still do, I'm not in that industry anymore. And you basically cut bias strips of organza, and then what you do is you cut them sort of that wide, and then you stretch them out on the ironing board and iron them, and it basically makes them thinner and thinner and thinner. So it makes them thinner and thinner, but then it stops. So obviously it goes to a certain point, and then it becomes completely stable, but it's still lovely and lightweight. I don't know why I went on to that, but anyway. Right, so this is the shape you'll see in the illustrations. It's like that, yeah? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pin the right side, so we're going to pin the raw edges together. We've got some notches there as well, which is great to line up with and help us make sure that we're not stretching things. So you raw edge to raw edge and working from the right side. So I'm going to now line up that notch here. And then I have got a notch to line up with the shoulder seam here, and just make sure that your shoulder seams are still pressed open. When I get to a pressed open seam, I always like to do a pin on one side of the seam allowance and then on the other side. So either side of the notch. Hello in Baltic Scotland. Yes, it's colder up there. How many people, because I feel like we've got a real range of international people and countries here. How many people have snow at home right now? Let's see what the snow vibes are. Always jealous of snow, people who get loads of snow, because I absolutely love it. I've accidentally cut a crease in there. Oh, I can hear rumblings in the kitchen. I'm hoping James is making dinner. It'd be nice to segue out of this Sewalong and have me dinner on the table. No snow in Copenhagen. That's unusual. I thought there would have been. Rain in Kentucky. In Cumbria you had some. Your mum's got it in Macclesfield. Ah, it snowed up there. Well, I guess that's not far from Cumbria either. It's that side. Nothing, no, snow in Manchester. Well, there you go. Nothing in York. No, Mum and Dad said it wasn't snowy. I spoke to them today. They're in York. And they said it's beautiful, but not snowy. So, South Wales this morning, but it's gone now. Oh, no snow in Luton. Tina, you're near me. I'm not too far from there. South Africa. Probably no snow in South Africa, 37 degrees. And no snow in Oregon, no, because you guys get all the rain, don't you, in Oregon? I guess on that side, it tends not to snow that much. Right, I am now just moving my way along, matching up. I should have said there's a double pair of notches at the back neck there that you want to line up with, and then just line up with the notches all the way along. So what I'm hoping tonight, guys, is that we'll do the binding. We'll finish the binding. But that would be nice to kind of get to that point. So that's what I'm aiming for, in case anyone was wondering. Okay. No snow yet, but it's coming soon. Ah, yes, your weather is like your hours. That's why there's a flower farmer that I follow, Lorianne, that lives, well, she lives in the Washington state, but her climate's very similar to us, so it's actually really useful to watch what she's doing. Right, centimetre seam allowance. 3, so yeah, centimetre seam allowance when we're sewing this, and that will mean that will cover the stay stitching, which we did under a centimetre. So nice little reverse. Do not play up, you annoying little machine. And then just, again, easy handling. Try not to overhandle. I just realised I didn't put many pins in the start here. I was thinking, why is that moved so much? Oh yeah, it's because I didn't pin it very well. I'll just put some more pins in. I was happily talking about snow. Oops. It's gone all quiet in the kitchen. That's not a good sign. I think he might have just come down to get himself a drink. James is the main cook in this house anyway, which is lovely. I make the house nice and look nice. That's my skill set. He does the cooking. Ooh. Although that does mean I have to do the clearing up, which I hate doing, clearing up. If I was better at cooking, I'd much rather cook than not clear up. Does everyone else have that rule in their houses, that if you cook, you don't clear up? Another good reason. I would love to go visit there. Oh, okay. And our Nicole is over there. She's in Vancouver. It's a bit further up, but I was chatting to Nicole, who was our old pattern manager who's moved over there, and she was saying that, yeah, I thought there'd be loads of snow, and she was like, no, it's Vancouver, it's just rainy. Don't get loads of snow. We clear up our own because my partner makes too much mess. So if you cook, you clear it up. Okay, but then that must mean you have an even amount of cooking. That would only work, wouldn't it? Yeah, James is good. He clears up kind of as he goes along. Haha, you wish. Oh dear. Yeah, James kind of clears up as he goes along, but it depends how tired he is or what he's making actually. My mum is actually the worst. Oh my gosh. Like she has, like seems to use every single thing. So on Christmas Day, last time I spent Christmas at Yorkshire, so not last year, the year before, Mum had actually broken her leg. She'd broken her leg on a dog walk. So she didn't do Christmas dinner. Me and my sister and Dad did it. So much low key kind of cooking. Everything was cleared up. We bought in gravy. We did not make it. And it was just a more chill Christmas, actually. I mean, my mum's an amazing cook, but sometimes the mess, you're like, whoa, was that worth it? Especially because after you've eaten on Christmas Day, you don't want to move. You want the little elves or fairies to come in and clear up. Right. So I am getting close to the end. So now what we are going to do is we are going to trim this seam allowance down. Now normally I like to do this on the ironing board, but for you guys I'm going to do it here. I keep my fingers underneath to make sure that I'm not accidentally catching more than I should and trimming off and making a hole in the bodice. That would not be cool. So just going along. So daisies. Getting there, sorry. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. I feel like I can't. It's interesting. I can sew and waffle, but this is, I feel like I've got to concentrate. I think it's because to me cutting is more final, isn't it? So especially with this thin viscose sort of fabrics, it is easy for it to sort of fold up on itself, and then before you know it, you've cut a hole. There we go. Fab. So now what we're going to do is understitch. So we're not going to press it first because that can stretch it out. So we're just going to understitch it. So I'm going to work right sides together, open it out, so pull it apart, and then we need to make the seam allowance go towards the bodice. I am going to line up the seam, so where that seam joins there, with the middle of my foot, and then I like to move my needle over to the one side, and that means that I catch where I need to catch, but I've got a nice guideline. Oh, something's getting a bit stuck there. I've got a nice guideline to follow. Why are you being difficult? It's a bit clunky, this machine. happened there. It's got in a tangle, just bear with me. It's making a noise that implies that it's not sewing very well. It's really hard to see black thread in the evening on black fabric, isn't it? I mean, it's hard anyway, but particularly in the evenings in winter light. And try again. So, what are you doing? Annoying little thing. Maybe I'm just going to start a little bit further in, see if that's going to help it. Just make sure that your seam allowance is going towards your binding. Because it's cut, it is a bit fiddlier. Sounds better to me now, it's less clunky. So hopefully it's not going to do that. You know when you can hear that it's causing loops underneath? I wonder if my needle needs changing. That could be it. Because we haven't pressed this already, we need to be careful that we don't let any overhang of the binding happen. So do take it in little sections and really pull the binding away from the bodice. And then obviously keeping on checking that you have moved your seam allowance over. Sorry, yeah, your seam allowance over. I am saying the right thing. How are we doing? 45 minutes. Well, we had a bit of a kerfuffle at the beginning because we had the wrong, something start wrong, didn't we? The internet wasn't working. Oh, stop making that noise. This really needs oiling, this machine. He's proper squeaky. There. I'm sorry, I'm concentrating. Maybe chat amongst yourselves. Sorry guys, just whilst I get this done, because my machine is not sewing its most wonderfully. So it's making a bit too much noise, which means I sort of find it harder to concentrate as well. Oh, what is going on? Oh, we're past halfway. Whew, thank you. Like I'm getting into the rhythm of it now. Typical, I'm getting into the rhythm of it. I'm about to finish it. Done. Wonderful. So I'm now going to just trim those edges, and then I'm going to press. I'm going to press it flat, and then we're going to press it over like so, and then we will ouch, do not fall over. Press it over, and then press it flat, and then press it over, and then we'll stitch it from the top, stitch it in place. So we were chatting on our tea and a chat the other day. If you haven't seen it, Rosie and I did our little tea and a chat, which you haven't done for ages actually. Why are you not working with Christine? We were talking about whether we prefer, who prefers binding or facings, and I was saying that I prefer facing rather, and Rosie prefers binding. What do you guys prefer as a way of finishing a neckline? I understand, I like the finish of binding, but I do prefer, I find it quite fiddly. Well, it is fiddly, isn't it? Do you know what, I'm not gonna press that in. I'm going to just pin it in. Might pin it in from here though. Pin it from the wrong side, and then we'll flip the pins over. It's the best way to do it. And when you're pinning it, you want to make sure that you slightly roll the seam over, so that the seam of where the binding is attached sits on the inside. Literally, it's almost impossible. Facing is much quicker to sew. Exactly, it's a lot less steps. That's probably why I like it, because I'm so blooming speedy all the time. I was talking to Julie about new pattern today, following on from that chat. We're going to give options for both. Oh, so camp facing and camp binding will be covered in our new pattern. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Double the instructions. Find this sort of pinning very therapeutic. Oopsies. Being a perfectionist, you don't like binding. I guess though, the more you do binding, the quicker you get and the better you get at it, but I still think it's a faff. I like it in jersey. I definitely prefer it in jersey, because, well, you can't have facings, can you, in jersey? Right, I've pinned everything from the inside, and now I'm going to flip it and pin from the right side, because we're going to stitch the top stitching, believe it or not, from the top. So okay, I've pinned a few more around the neckline where it's curved, because it sort of doesn't sit as flat as it does on this front neckline. I've got a few more pins in there, just a little tip there. You might find that you need a few more because it's sort of stretching around the curve. And that's why binding works, because binding, because it's on the bias, it's more manipulating. No, that's not the right, well, it manipulates better round curves because it can stretch more, and that's why it works. So you can stretch it, but it will still sit flat. If you were to just cut a straight strip along the straight grain, it would not sit flat at all. Okay, so that's now pinned. Back I go. And we're going to do our top stitching, and then we've done the binding. It's not bad at all for an hour. Oh, it's a boring view. There we go. Get a bit more in. Maybe just lower this down slightly. I interacted Siri. I got Siri started there. Right. So centimetre seam allowance. If you've moved your needle over, don't forget to move it back. So sorry, not centimetre seam allowance, just under that. But I'm going to use the edge of my foot because that will give me just under a centimetre for top stitching. Oh, it's sounding unhealthy again. It's the start. You might need a little service, Mr. Machine. Maybe he's in a mood with me. Maybe my machine's in a mood with me because I've not used it for a while. I think the last time I did some sewing... Oh no, I sewed on Christmas Eve. You shouldn't be annoyed with me. I sewed on Christmas Eve. But I haven't sewn since then. I have got 2 Ava skirts ready that I really, really want to make. And I thought that would be a really good little project actually to get me a nice quick evening, you know, make a skirt. I can make an Ava skirt in an hour, so it's a nice one. So I'm tempted just to leave my machine out actually, and maybe tomorrow night I'll jump on and do a little Ava skirt. So I like an Ava skirt with a chunky jumper and woolly tights and little ankle boots. I think that's a great look at the moment. Binding is done all the way around, and it is finished and top stitched, and that is essentially your top of your bodice. Obviously there's still quite a bit to do, but that you can see where we're going. Right, we have done it in an hour. Well done everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been really lovely to get back into these. We'll be back with more sew-alongs throughout this year, definitely aiming to do one for each new pattern, and we've got a new pattern every month, so that's exciting. Plunging. Yeah, no, it's not as plunging. It looked really plunging, but it wouldn't be when it's finished. Thanks to Rosie for answering your questions. Let's all wish Rosie good luck tomorrow because she is moving house. Good luck, Rosie. Hope it goes well. I'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.